Hi all, back with more Conflict Heroes. This is the first part of Solo Mission 4, Partisans. Um, I got finished with the playthrough of Hunting Chernoff, the third solo mission last night. I haven't watched through all the parts, I've done quite a lot. Got through a few of them though, so a few things come up across my mind. Couple of answers, another answer to my low risk move question. Hal made a comment on the video footage in part 7, I want to say it was, regarding how he felt that was right. I've not quite looked at his comment, to be honest, yet, and replied to it because I just glanced at it. But however, I really feel like the rules could be clearer within that, and I'm wondering if I might be able to write something up. And then I thought about, you know what would be good? Maybe a flow chart, because it or just set up better that you understand. Is it in a fire zone? You can imagine a flow chart as the unit in a fire zone, then move to this box. Then if it's in a fire zone, can it move to a defensive hex, then move to that box? I mean, it's not something I've done before, flowcharts, but I feel like they could do with some better structure and how it is worked. Because the way it's written, AI low risk move in 5.32 is fine, sorta, but the fact that it incorporates 5.3 and also 5.2 could be considered, you don't know when to jump to them, maybe it's clear to some, maybe it is clear to some, but I think it could be structured better so that you know exactly where you stand, and then it doesn't stop you guys out there from saying, look, that's a stupid move, that's a better move, I'm going to reel 42 that he moves there. None of that's going to stop you from doing it, but us guys, well, maybe just me, that wants to play it by the rules, by the book. I don't want to rule 42 it. For us, I think it definitely could be better structured, and maybe that's why there's not been so many people up in arms about it, because you guys out there are quite happy to sort of say, look, that's the best move, that's where you should go. It's as simple as that. I just think it could be structured better. And I'm thinking about trying to write something out. Like I say, a flow chart sort of might work. That might be a good way of doing it. Just so you know for sure. It still just doesn't feel 100% clear to me, even watching back on some of the footage that I've done and thinking, well, can I move him? He's not in a fire zone. Can I move him into a fire zone? I mean, I think it's there. It's within the rules. It is there. It's just not. It doesn't stand out as being clear. That's all I'm saying. I was at first going to. In fact, before I cleared off the other map, I was going to set up the wee scenario that I had, the one that was bothering me, and I put the question out there. I might still do a bit of that at some point. I've got to reply to what Lewis said and just try and get clear from what he's meaning by that, by his reply to the question that I had, and also just wanting to find out for sure how it all works properly. That's all. It shouldn't be that difficult, should it? It shouldn't be that difficult to be able to do this by the book, but it just. Yeah, anyway. Well, why didn't I just start that rather than going into this? Well, I don't know if I do want to record that. I think I need to put a post up, but I do need somebody to check that I'm getting it right as well. That's the problem. Or I mean, if I was to post a flow chart, I also need somebody to check it as well, Anyway, it just seems a shame to get stumped by this, and it's an important part of the game that some of you I know don't think it's that it's that important, because you know the best move for the AI to make, and you know the safe move for it to make. You know, a low risk move for it. You know the best option, but sometimes it's maybe not how the rules are wanting it. So, right. Anyway, I think you've gone on enough about that, Grant. Right, here's Solo Mission 4 Partisans. We might as well get this introduced, and I can decide what I'm going to do about that later. No doubt it's not going to be long before I'm scratching my head, looking at the map, and wondering where this low risk move AI is going to low risk move to. However, yeah, well, right. So we've got Solo Mission 4 Partisans. It's only one map. Look, we've done away with. We've just got the one map. Who would have thought after the 4 maps? So let's just go over things. We might as well read out the little introduction, because I've not read it myself. So Solo Mission 4 Partisans, October 17th, 1941, Soviet Field Order. Comrades, this is a main supply route for the Germans. We will mine the road and ambush the next convoy, destroy as many trucks as possible, and then melt away to the east. We will rendezvous at camp. Partisan leader Victor S. So, general situation. Remnants of cut-off Soviet infantry units scattered after the fall of Kiev have begun partisan activities. A heavily armed group of partisans operating near Preluki have been tracked by a group of soldiers from the German 161st Infantry Division sent to secure the area. Worse for the Soviets, a detached squad of SS trackers are trailing a group of partisan reinforcements arriving from the north. Okay, so that's the story. So player command, we're playing as the Germans. Obviously the AI takes the Soviet. Round 1, it's German initiative. We get 6 caps per round, and they start with 1 victory point. You see, I've got that set up over there. So they start with 1. We get 6 per round. Action cards. All action cards, bonus cards 0 to 2 to 06 and 08 to 11. So there's a couple more introduced. I think card 8 and 11 are new. Actually in card 6, whatever that is, I think that was brought in new as well. I didn't really study them, I just got them together and shuffled them up. The German receives 1 card in round 1 and 1 card each round thereafter. Well, while we're reading that, I might as well draw the card I've got. So, because I've got all these shuffled up. So I've drawn my card. Right, good. Command action, 1 free action. That's always good. So I'll set that aside for now. And every round we're going to get 1, unlike that last scenario where we got them all at the start and that was it. Order cards 1 to 41. Well, we had 1 to 43 the last time. So I think that means they are defensive more than aggressive. If I'm right. Map setup, map 1, that's what I've got. Place a Soviet control marker on hex G09 and a German control on hex H07. And then for an easier mission we're not going to do. So there's the control markers. Soviet control marker there, German control marker there. Okay. And then for the units, German player forces half a rifle platoon. Enter round 1 from the south map edge. We've got 2 rifles, 2 light machine guns. SS trackers enter as ordered on the mission track. 1 times Pioneer, but it's not got the flamethrower. And it'll show you, we'll have a glance at the mission track in a minute to see when that will come in. Soviet forces, partisans, set up places specified. 1 times MMG on hex D11. I'll show you the map in a minute. And it says it may never move into a 0 DM hex. So we'll need to keep that one in mind. That could be easily forgotten about, I think. Fingers crossed, hope not. 4 times rumoured enemy, and it's got their hex numbers where they start. And then these hidden units are placed in the rumoured enemy cup, obviously for the rumoured enemy. We've got 2 rifles, 1 SMG, and 1 no enemy out of them. Okay, so you might think that's not an awful lot, and I suppose it isn't really, but I think we are going to get Well, actually, I don't think we get any more. Just looking at it there. But they, I think, can add stuff. Well, look at the mission track in a second. Anyway, there's a setup at the start. So there's this MMG Maxim in the woods there. It's in the heavy woods, isn't it? Heavy woods. So he cannot move into 0 DM hex. So if any movement, I suppose he's going to go back a little bit. We've got the 2 control markers, 3 rumoured enemy up there, and there's 1 down here. Now that's our starting forces. The Pioneers won't come in until it gets hit on the mission track, but we've got 2 rifles and 2 light machine guns. Is that right? Yeah, 2 and 2. This is our starting edge hex, and and remember, we are 3rd edition rules are put aside now. Yeah, I should have introduced the part with that. They've been put aside. They're out of reach, just mind you. So when we do come to deploy these, they will be costing us 1. We will be doing a 1 spent check, whereas we sneaked that one out the last time because 3rd edition doesn't use that. Whether that's something that they would errata in it or not. See, the thing is, it doesn't tell you about that in the solo game. It's only in the base rules it talks about how units come on the map. So it doesn't really mention it. I couldn't find it anyway. Okay, so that's our setup, and they'll come on as... so just glancing at the map, now you can see there's a blue 1, 2 and a 3 here. You've got truck centre here, a B, an A, K10, and there's a C down there. Now this control marker A, it says any AI or player occupation of this hex removes this German control marker. If this control marker is removed via Soviet AI occupation, then place a German control marker on K10, which is here then. If objective placement conditions are met. So there's some things going on, but we'll see. We really need to come across here to see. I don't think we need to look at that anymore. So I'll fold that over and make a bit more space. Although we're spoiled for space now with the other 3 maps going away. So quick look at the mission track, I guess, because it's a bit more interesting this time. There's a bit more going on. So you can see we're starting here, and I'll get my wee timer up. I'll maybe fold that down a bit. It's probably not good for the book, but yeah. So each one of these will place an RE. It tells you the special rules down below, which I'll glance at in a minute. Now remember, these aren't yellow bordered, so if we do skip by one, we ignore the one that we skip by. It's only the yellow box things that if you skip by, you still have to carry them out. So there's place REs. These are scoring hexes, and you can see these are in yellow, so they'll always happen, and another one at the end. We'll find out about that as we go on. 6 reinforcements. Add a Soviet rifle into the draw cup and place an RE on hex G18. So pretty, they're getting another unit in the draw cup, and another rumoured enemy comes on the board. It's in yellow as well, so it's going to happen. That's another one. This is when we get the SS trackers, and they come in at a specific hex. Obviously these might not happen because these aren't yellow. This is supply truck, so that's the one that might not happen. Well, actually no, that one might not happen as well. So it says supply truck enters a long road, see special rules below. So there's rules about the supply trucks, but they might not happen. Vodka AI hit AI closest to unit all rallies, and we've got landmine there and whatever. Okay, so just a quick glance at the special rules then. So place RE, when the mission marker advances to place RE and a no enemy counter, add a no enemy counter in the rumoured enemy cup, then a new RE will be placed 2 hexes away from an existing RE that is closest to a unit. So basically you're placing an RE and a no enemy counter, so you're not adding a unit there. Roll 1d6, a new RE is placed 2 hexes away in the direction that the die result indicates, as shown to the right. So here. If this hex is already AI or unit occupied, or if there is better cover within 1 hex of where the new RE should be placed, then place the new RE into the adjacent hex with the highest defense modifier that is closest to a unit. If no RE exists on the map, do not place a new RE. If no RE exists on the map, do not place a new RE. Alright, okay. Yeah, so you can see that's all the ones that just say place RE. So you're just going to get rumoured enemies and no enemy counters. Sorry, no enemy counters in the cup. Whereas these ones, you add a Soviet rifle and you place an RE on the hex. So there's 2 of them. So there's going to be 2 more Soviet rifle units going to come on board. Okay, and then how the trucks work. Supply truck, when the mission marker advances to supply truck, roll a die. If a 1 to 3 is rolled, a German truck is placed on hex G18 and will immediately move along the road to exit from hex FO2. If a 4 to 6 is rolled, a German truck is placed on hex FO2 and will immediately move along the road to exit from hex G18. For each space the mission track advances, so for each space the mission track advances, each German truck will move 3 hexes along the road towards its exit point. The player may not move or rally the trucks. Trucks are also never spent. The trucks will move into and through AI Soviet occupied hexes. Trucks may not capture control markers. Okay, so there you go. Well, let's just glance at victory points. So the Soviets will gain for each eliminated German unit. So my guess is these trucks, if they do come on, it's going to be the chance for them to gain more victory points, because they will treat them as a German unit and take them out and score a victory point. 1 victory point when the mission marker advances to or passes a score victory hex space. Score for control of only hex G09. Right, okay, so each time it reaches here, whoever controls hex G09 will gain a victory point. Because I was going to say the Soviets will gain a victory point, but we've also got that part of the victory points as well. When the mission marker advances to or passes score victory point hex, score for control of only hex G09. And that's the one that the Soviets start with. Yeah, okay. So getting control of that's obviously going to be pretty beneficial, because they score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times throughout the scenario. Okay, so that's something to think about. And then we would gain 1 for each eliminated Soviet unit. We would also gain 1 for each truck that safely exits the map. So there's another chance there, but I think the likelihood of the trucks being able to just stroll off the map, the AI is probably going to have something to say about that. Right, we've got some mission orders there. Might as well glance at them maybe by AI furthest from unit or German control hex, move towards. Counter actions are AI with no unit within 3 hexes closest to German control hex, low risk, move towards. Yeah, no real point looking at them yet. We'll get to them as things happen. Right, this AI objective placements. AI objectives can be placed at the beginning of any AI turn, once during the mission. For each condition listed below, place German control markers as AI objectives on the following hexes. And that's kind of annoying. I think I'm going to have the map exposed for this one. Well, we do have more space, Grant, so it's maybe not a biggie. Sorry, I should have paused there. It's just I think I'm going to need to see these. It's not got the hex numbers. That's fine though. So K10, if the AI moved on and removed the control marker on hex H07A and no German light machine gun has line of sight and is in normal range of hex, yeah, these German control markers, if both and then the next one is DO2, if both German, so hang on, both German light machine guns are on the map and neither has line of sight to hex C03, which is C, and if no unit is within 4 hexes of a hex DO2. Well, I'm not quite sure I'm following on that. I have done this mission before though as well, but again, a long time ago. AI objectives can be placed at the beginning of any AI turn. Once during the mission, for each condition listed below, place German control markers as AI objectives on the following hexes. Yeah, well, we've already spoken about this. In fact, it tells you down there about that first one, doesn't it? So, let me just zoom out and look at this as well. So, K10. So, there would be a German control marker placed here if the AI moved on and removed the control marker on hex H07, which is here, and no German light machine gun is line of sight and is in normal range of hex K13. Yeah, okay. I'm not quite sure I'm soaking all that in, to be honest. And I watched a playthrough of this one. I think this is one of the ones that Kurt done. He done a playthrough of Partisans many moons ago. But one of the videos I watched to get me into the game to start with. I can't remember this being as tricky to. Maybe it'll sink in once I read it. Probably better just reading that off camera and letting that sink in, and then I should work out. Because it says there, any AI or player occupation of this hex removes that control marker. And if this control marker is removed via Soviet AI occupation, then place the German control marker in K10 if objective placement conditions are met, right? So if we go on that hex, that comes off. If they get to go on that hex, there'll be a control marker placed here if there's no German light machine gun that has a line of sight normal range of hex K13, which is where exactly? HIJK, that's a way up, isn't it? It's got it marked on the thing, Grant. B. So if these conditions are met, that control marker will be placed there. And I want to say my guess is it's going to work out that we probably don't want the control markers placed. Well, what's the DO2 one, which is down there? If both German light machine guns are on the map and neither has line of sight to hex C03, which is here, and if no unit is within 4 hexes of D02. Okay, how does that finish it then? It says these German control markers, along with the control marker on hex H07, are removed when they're occupied by any AI or unit. This does not include the control marker on the hex G09. Okay, so right, I guess we'll work it out as we come there. If any of us hit these, it'll maybe trigger something. Well, the conditions for the second one are both German LMGs are on the map and neither has line of sight, so we might need to watch that one. I'm not sure if we want these control markers coming up or not. Well, both these counteractions and mission orders are allowing them to move towards German control hexes, but they don't get points for like taking them or anything like that. So, right, well we'll work it out as we go along. I think I'll keep that open for now though. Hi all. Right, no, this is only the second half of this video, isn't it? Yeah, I forgot I had paused yesterday and then I never got back, so this is just a continuation. We've talked about the setup here. So I'll hopefully get this started, but there's a few things I'd like to discuss, and I'm as well just chucking it in here, I think, and just because it's come to my mind fresh. Yeah, I'd rather do that than just start this mission without this being talked about. Now, I've had some to and fro with Lewis, has kept up my conversation regarding the low risk move situation that I feel like is stumping me a little bit. Without going too much into that, I still feel. I mean, I get the impression that what he's saying is that the movement towards is what you want to do, right? And okay, I mean, I understand that. I mean, the order's called low risk move towards, and then the normal order's move towards. Now, the normal order move towards is reasonably straightforward, to be honest. It's not really, it's a low risk side of it. And all that needs to be explained to me is, basically, if you're in a fire zone, sorry, let me get some things in front of me so I know what I'm talking about. Sorry, if you're not in a fire zone, to be honest, if you're in a fire zone, it's pretty straightforward too. I like the way the rules are. If you're not, if you're in a fire zone, you try and move into a non-fire zone. Then if you can't do that, you move into a fire zone that's got the same or higher DM hex. Now, some of these can still bring up little bits and whatever. And then you move towards the target's flank. That one, number 3, is a bit that's the one that's a bit wordy, so that can come in it. However, being in a fire zone is a bit simpler to get. And all I need answered is, if I'm not in a fire zone, I've got 2 options. And the first one is, I'll move into another non-fire zone hex. The second one is, I'll move into a fire zone hex if it's got a defense modifier. They're the 2, but however, I'm getting stuck with the first one. And I mean, when I originally brought this up, I moved into the hex that I ignored. I said we can't do number 1, and I moved on to 2. And it was when Marcus brought it to my attention that, well, can you not move around towards the unit's flank? And then I looked at it and I thought, you know what, he's right. If I move that way, I'm moving towards the unit's flank. And that's part of the AI hex movement hierarchy, right? And yeah, I know we've been all over all this, but basically the question I need answered is, does that take priority? Within an AI low risk move, and if the AI is not in a fire zone, does the 2 steps take priority over everything else? As in, if a unit is not in a fire zone, if an AI is not in a fire zone, it'll move to another non-fire zone hex. Now, if it can do that, is that not a priority and that's what it should do? Full stop. Now, I say full stop, and then what I do is, of course, I didn't make that move, did I? Because, 1, I couldn't move closer. So I was moving into a non-fire zone hex still, but I couldn't move closer, which is one of the hierarchy. That's first bullet, is to move closer, right? And yeah, the order's called move towards, so it makes sense. Now, I was staying at a fire zone, which is bullet 2 of the movement hierarchy. I couldn't enter a defense modifier hex, which was number 3 of the hierarchy. And number 4, I didn't really consider, and it's when Marcus mentioned that I thought, and number 4 is the AI will move towards an enemy's flank. And then I thought, oh wait, now I can do that. So basically what I came down to was that I think I got that move wrong, and I know we're showing a different map now, and it was the last mission, but hey ho, I'm sure it will come up again. But I'm hoping to get complete answers soon, and well, yeah. So I chose to ignore that one and move on to we'll move into a fire zone hex that has a DM, and I moved it 1 hex forward. It moved into a defense modified hex. It also got closer. Now, if it had not been getting closer and just moving into a DM hex and a non-fire zone hex and a fire zone, then I suppose that would have applied too. But however, I didn't consider the one, and when Marcus mentioned about moving into its flank, I then thought, he's right. We should have moved round to the flank. Now, we wouldn't have been getting closer, we wouldn't have been in a DM, we would have been moving towards its flank. However, we would not be moving into its any fire zone. And that's what I need to know. Is that the priority? To not move into the fire zone, you know? If you can. Now, I'd said to you about full stop. If none of the things can be achieved, if it can't get closer, can't go into a higher DM hex, a higher DM hex than it's in, and it can't move towards its enemy's flank, then I reckon we've looked at all the hierarchy. It's doing absolutely nothing for us. We move on to the next one. We'll move into a fire zone as a DM. That's how I see it. However, I could well be wrong. And yes, I could. And I'll hold my hands up and I'll say, right, because I want to know. I want to know. If I'm wrong, yes, tell me. Unfortunately, I think we need the designer to tell me. Lewis seems really keyed up with his rules. There's a few others out there. I mean, to be honest, Marcus was arguing this other way. But then he to be honest, he backed down and said that Lewis is probably right and he's got it right, blah, blah, blah. And I took the other view of that and thought Marcus was actually right. But however, all these guys know the rules pretty well. A lot of them probably don't go into it as much and probably do Rule 42 and like get the best out of the move and whatever, and then that'll be that. So what I decided to do was, because like I say, I've been back and forth. I've been adding some stuff, and he's been trying to explain it to me, and it's maybe just me and not really sinking in. I also spoke about the original rule set, where I'll maybe read that out in a second, because that was part of my reply to Hal's comment recently, which is really good. So anyway, before I got this comment from Hal, I decided myself I went on the Academy Games website, and I thought, is there a way to maybe contact them or leave a question? And there is indeed. You can leave a question. So it's maybe a bit of a long-winded question, and I don't know if I've worded it properly, or I hope I have, and I hope something's going to come back and just straighten out for me and just sort of show me one way or the other. And it's basically asking that, is the priority that, or, as we will go into Hal's comment here, which is really good, and in some ways I hope he's right with this. I hope he is right, and we'll see what comes back from Academy Games, but I've not got any reply yet. So let's talk about Hal's comment, and it was from part 10. So this is part 1, isn't it, of the new thing. So it's difficult to point at things and whatever, but I'd like to read it out because it's really well done and makes a lot of sense. He says, Grant, the discussion around the 17.5-minute mark is, in my opinion, fairly straightforward. It's me again trying to discuss a low-risk move and whatever. You can go, he's time-stamped that if you want to go and look at the bit of video footage on part 10. I don't think we need that just to read this on and maybe get a grasp of what he's saying here. So he says, 5.3, AI hex movement hierarchy is the dominant driver for all AI movement. Yeah, okay, that is right. 5.3.2 is a subset of 5.3 as proven by the numbering system employed, 5.3 versus 5.3.2. Well, that makes a lot of sense, yeah. You would think that 5.3 comes before 5.3.2, which it does, okay? So, good. Therefore, bullet 1 under 5.3 states the AI will move to a hex that is a fewer number of hexes away from the target. Yes, that is the priority of the AI hex movement hierarchy. I agree. This is therefore the move that needs to be looked at first. Okay, so yes, okay. And if I was carrying out a normal movement, not a low risk movement, that's exactly where I'd be looking. I would just be wanting to move closer. And in fact, there's not an awful lot of other things to really bother us about too much. That is the priority. I get that, yes, but this is a low risk move, and this is why I wish it was structured better or just explained better. However, if you've got this right, Hal, if what you say is right, then That's great. And then I've got it, absolutely. So he carries on. So this is therefore the move that needs to be looked at first. Since the AI can do this, then the subset 5.3.2 must be examined, since this is a low risk move. So, okay, so if what he's saying there is, if you look for a low risk move or any kind of move, and it can move to, or if it can shorten the distance, fewer number of hexes, and it's a low risk move, you then got to look at 5.32. That kind of makes sense, because like he says, it's a subset. So that must be examined, since this is a low risk move. Since the AI cannot move into another non-fire zone hex and still be closer to the target, you then look at bullet 2. So this is where I hope he's right. But this is where I start to doubt. Right, sorry. Doorbell, interruption. So where was I? Yeah. I just read this. I'm having to read it again for myself. So since the AI cannot move into another non-fire zone hex and still be closer to the target, you then look at bullet 2, will move into a fire zone hex that has a DM. Now, like I say, I hope he's right with this, or at least I can get this cleared up one way or the other. Now, I'm pretty sure this is Lewis's view on this as well. So, it's maybe just me. This is maybe just me struggling to get around this. I feel like it could be laid out better in the rules, but to be honest, the way Hal's speaking about it here, this being a subset of 5.3, and use 5.3, and then you sort of mix in 5.32 because it's a low risk move, and then you've also got 5.2 is partly involved as well. Well, you see, this is where, what you've just said there, Hal, about since the AI cannot move into a non-fire zone hex and be closer to the target, then look at bullet 2. What is the point of 5.2 then here? Which, to be honest, if we're going by numbers, subsets, 5.2 comes before 5.3. But the 5.2, Lewis has said this is just a definition of what the words mean, towards and fire zone. I suppose it says towards, but it does say AI movement that does not increase the number of hexes to the target. If an AI cannot move in a way that decreases the number of hexes to target, it may instead move into a target's flank, move into cover, or pivot, providing that it does not increase the number of hexes to the target. So that comes before 5.3, which says, in bullet 1, which says move to hex that is a fewer number of hexes. That's telling you there that you can still do it if you're not moving closer. So, again, whether it's me, maybe it's me, I don't know. Anyway, let's finish this off. So he carries on. The critical piece is that 5.3 must be looked at as the movement driver, and since it is a hierarchy, you look at bullet 1 under 5.3. I understand, you look down the list. To me, you should be looking down the list of them all, but anyway. Since the AI can do what you need, since the AI can do that, you need to see if 5.32 allows that, as 5.3 are in addition to the 5.3 rules. If the 5.3 move couldn't be made due to a restriction in 5.32, you would move to bullet 2 and 5.3. So, there you go. That's a pretty good summing up of it. I hope you're right. I hope I get some confirmation back that backs that up, Hal. There you go. And then I can put that to bed for good. I've replied with, that's a very interesting, well laid out command that makes a lot of sense. I hope you're right in this thinking, as I really need this cleared up. I do still personally feel that this is not clear in the rules. You only have to check them into low risk move threads and BGG, which there are a few. Earlier today I sent off a question to Academy Games to see if I can get a definitive answer. Hopefully the answer will come back giving me the information needed to put my mind at rest and move on with what is a great solo wargaming experience. Something I linked earlier to Lewis, who's been helping out in BGG, was this from the original solo rule set. Now, the original solo rule set, well, the one I have, I don't know if there was one previous to it or not. I don't think so. I think this was first one. It's version 43, I want to say. Yeah, 43 of the solo rules. And it's 5.31 that is the low risk move. And I can probably just get it in there. There it's there. So certain AI orders will order an AI to take a low risk move. Low risk moves must follow these movement conditions. Right, that's all I really want to highlight. Low risk moves must follow these movement conditions. And the first one is, if not in a fire zone, the AI may move into any non-fire zone hex. That's it. So right there. Now you might say, okay, this is an older set of the rules. Fair enough. There's not much difference within that to what there is now. But the fact that they were insisting that this must happen, if it's not, if it's not in a fire zone, it may move into any non-fire zone hex. If not in a fire zone, the AI may only move into a fire zone hex that has any type of DM. I suppose that's actually, I'm just reading that. I'm reading that clearer now, that it does kind of say that it's not really saying, it's kind of blending the two together, isn't it, there? So I suppose technically that doesn't really give me a sort of argument to the old rules, does it? It does say it must follow these, but then maybe this is similar to how it's written now. So maybe that's not a great example. There you can see the old rules, 5.3 AI movement orders. Now 5.2 isn't this. The 5.2 got brought in to sort of define a bit. Well, there it's there. 2 orders in fire zone. It's got it there. The big one that Lewis mentioned to me earlier in one of the comments on BGG was, this is the old execute an AI order. Yeah, I've got them laminated, so whether I might get some glare on this one. And this is the new one. Just notice, this is the old one here. The AI will move into a hex. You'll see that one that is not in a fire zone, highest DM, close to the target's flank. And then the rules, as the rules moved on, the next version of the rules, this is the latest one that I've got, you can see that is a fewer number of hexes away. So this is what they brought in to prioritise things beyond these. So, and this is where it pushed it on to make it better. Maybe this is where I've got stuck back. I've got hung up back when I originally played it and struggled with this. And maybe this is why I'm struggling to move on. The fact that it wants to move closer. It wants to do that all the time. So, however, I hope they give me an answer back to the question that says one or the other, but we shall see. And my worry is that I get an answer back that doesn't quite clear it up, or I've not worded my question right, and it ends up being a bit of a mess. Okay, well, thanks for that, Hal. Really good explanation to it. Hope you're right, and then I can relax and move on with all these thoughts and how it's done. Okay, right, quick couple of comments to my playthrough, part 11. Right, again, I can't really show you here, but the revealing of an RE in the last scenario was only if the unit was in line of sight and in a 0 DM hex. Now, I revealed a couple of units that were way back on the hill. Now, I don't think this would apply, but when you're on a hill, you get a +1 DM. Let me just go around through, try to find hills here. Which I should have looked. There's hills. Where does it tell you? Yeah, higher elevation bonuses. Units on a higher level receive a +1 DM bonus when attacked by units on a lower level. Well, we weren't attacking, we were just trying to spot it. But it was getting a +1 DM over because we were at lower elevation, sorry. So I wondered when I was watching it back if that would have counted and I would not have been able to reveal it. But I don't feel too bad about actually doing that, because I don't think that would apply. It's a different thing, you know. Fair enough if I'm attacking it. So I've just put the comment in there anyway, in the header. Then there was one at 1 hour and 1 minute on part 11 as well, where I chose the target being the hit unit. Now, the 2 units had been spent in the previous round. They'd both been spent, but one of them was hit. So, but it's spent first. Your target is spent first, then hit. So I was taking the hit one all the time. But the time I went to do it, the other unit wasn't spent. The hit unit wasn't spent. And then the spent unit was there. And I chose the hit unit again, where I shouldn't. I should have chose the spent unit. They were both quite close together, but it was the one that involved the move towards cover, which might have dragged it in a slightly different direction. Well, I don't think it was a biggie. And then part 12 at the 5 minute and 50-second mark. Yeah, I've got a glitch here. When the video kind of conks out, I don't know why, but I don't need to really mention any of that. Right, that was all for now. So let's move on with this scenario, and I will update you on if I do get a response from Academy Games. I really do hope that you're right, Hal. A part of me feels like Lewis has been playing the game longer than me, knows the rules and whatever. It looks like he's under the similar. That's how his. Even though he will rule 42, and I think you've already said how you'll do it as well, so you'll have no difficulty with this game. But even though that, you're actually stating that that's how you're reading the rules, and so I think is how Lewis sees it. So I'm the outsider here, but I just need told for sure, you know. And if I get an answer from the designer himself saying that, then I'll hold my hands up and say, you guys were all right, and I'm just a fool. Right, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so let's get Partisans started. Solo mission 4, Partisans. Just at a quick glance at things, just to try and work out what we want to try and achieve. Now, I'm not really sure about all the subjective placements and whatever. I understand the special rules here regarding the RE and that. But you can see right away that you're going to score victory points if you control G09 hex, and that's where the Soviet control marker is right now. So my thinking is that's obviously the priority. Now we can only arrive from the hexes along here. Well, this whole complete side. I guess I'm saying here because I think we won't move into there. I seem to remember watching Kurt's playthrough that moving on to this was a good thing to do. Now it says any AI or player occupation of this hex removes this German control marker. If this control marker is removed via Soviet AI occupation, then place a German control marker on K10 if objective placement conditions are met. And I think we want to try and avoid that. Now I might have it wrong. It's been a while since I played this mission. So I might have that wrong. But however, we want to try and head towards this and try and take control of it before we hit mission track space 5. And then, well, if we can do that, we'll start gaining victory points. And if we can hold that the rest of the game, then it should be an easy victory. Now, I dare say that's not going to be so easy to accomplish. But so my guess is bringing stuff on here and moving it up to here and then try and get into there. But obviously, they're going to be moving towards our control marker too. So, yeah. Right. Well, let's start. It's our initiative. Now we did draw. That was a card that we drew for the round, the command action. We get 1 every round after that. It's our initiative. We've got 6 caps. They start on 1 victory point, and yeah, let's just get it going. So we've got two light machine guns and 2 rifles. Obviously, the light machine guns are far better. And then this doesn't come into it until we hit that on the track, so keep that aside. Yeah, so I think I probably want to get one of my machine guns on and just put him in there, I think. Now remember the RE, I've only got a range of 5 anyway. Now this guy's got a range of 9 though. Sorry. They're Maxim MMG. He's got a range of 9, so we need to keep an eye on him. And remember, that one of the things we need to remember is he cannot move into a 0 DM hex. However, we've got these woods in the way. When we hit, well, if we hit here, my guess is we'll be in his line of sight. But that's a heavy woods hex, so it's a nice place to maybe get the light machine gun into. And yeah, and do that. So that's going to be my action. Now, we're back to version 2 in the rules. So we've got to do a spent check on a 1. Just wander back to... Yeah, give me a sec. Yeah, okay. So, right, yeah, I've got him facing that way. He needs to have a facing, Grant. You can't face the spine of a hex. You've got to face the side, which is fine. So I put him in there. So he has, and like I say, not the new 3rd edition rules, so we do need to check on a 1 to see if he's spent. So here we go. Oh dear. Oh, that was a terrible start. Okay. Right, well, that'll be that. That's horrible. Right, okay. Ponder on that. Right, over to the AI then. Let's see what they're going to do. Oh, and right away, the timer moves twice. Wow, what a start. Okay. Right, so we're going here. Now remember, because I've said this is not in yellow, so we're not going to conduct that event, but we are going to conduct the one it lands on, and it's place RE. So let's just remind ourselves of the rules down there, place RE. Now, I did not bring stuff out, I just thought I'll drag them out when I can. Right, I've got an RE. So when the mission marker advances to place RE, add a no enemy counter into the rumoured enemy cup. So, okay, so one of these go into the rumoured enemy cup. So that's adding the chance. That's us got 2 no enemies in there and only 3 units, wasn't it? Something like that. Then a new RE will be placed 2 hexes away from an existing RE that is closest to a unit. Roll 1d6, the new RE is placed 2 hexes away in the direction that the die result indicates, as shown to the right here. If this hex is already AI or unit occupied, or if there is better cover within 1 hex of where the new RE should be placed, then place the new RE into the adjacent hex with the highest DM that is closest to a unit. If no RE exists on the map, do not place a new RE. Okay, let's just break that down and I'll go over the map and have a look. So, a new RE will be placed 2 hexes away from an existing RE that is closest to a unit. Well, this is the only unit we've got on board, so he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 away. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 away as well. So it's between the 2. New RE will place 2 hexes away from an existing RE that's closest to a unit. Right, so I'm going to have to actually break down between the 2. So we'll say a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, 5, 6, because there's nothing to break them down. There's not an explanation of how you... yeah, I think it's just a random roll from there. So 1, 2, 3, this guy. I rolled a 2. So it's going to be down here. So it's going to be within 2 hex. Will be placed 2 hexes away from an existing RE that's closest to a unit. So that's that. Roll 1d6. So we're going to roll 1d6, and it's going to... This is the RE that's there, and then round about... let's just roll that. So I'm guessing if it comes out round here, we might have some issues. So let's roll the dice. I've rolled a 6. Right, which is that hex there. So it says the new RE is placed 2 hexes away in the direction that the die result indicates, as shown to the right. So I can't go 2 hexes away. If this hex is already AI or unit occupied, or if there is better cover within 1 hex of where the new RE should be placed. Well, there's not, is there? There's not a cover up where it should be placed. It should be placed here, but I can't place it on a half hex. So I suppose you could say we could... That's 2 hexes away there, but there's no cover to it. So I either put it here or here. I'm not quite sure because of the die roll situation. If this hex is already AI or unit occupied, or if there's better cover within 1 hex of where the new RE should be placed, then place the new RE into the adjacent hex with the highest DM that is closest to a unit. If no RE exists on the map, do not place the new RE. I don't know how to break all that down. Will we just put it in there? The thing with that is we're going to be within line of sight of that, and it's in a 0 DM hex. Whereas there, well, but Grant, you've got to probably still getting that in line of sight. I don't know. Yeah, I think the fact it wants to be 2 hexes away, I'll put it in there. I mean, it should be 2 hexes in that direction. I can't go there, but I can go there. And then once we put it there, we're looking for better defense modified hex, 1 hex round about. We can't find any. Yeah, then it would go into the highest DM hex that is closest to a unit. Well, we can't do that, so it's just going to stay there, I think. That's my take on that. Okay? So, however, with that, this unit has that in line of sight and is in a 0 DM hex, so I think we're going to reveal that now. Just want to remind myself of the rumoured enemy. An RE is revealed if it occupies or moves into a 0 DM hex in any unit's line of sight. So that is in our line of sight, so we are going to reveal that. So we're into the rumoured enemy cup, and we're drawing something. Kind of hoping that's going to be a no enemy, but that is good. Okay, so that comes off, and then that comes off again. So no great harm done there then, I suppose. There's still one more rumoured enemy, no enemy in the cup. Okay, so that's moved the track on. So now what are the AI going to do? Well, there's nothing in close combat, nothing at short range. Fresh AI less than fresh units, AI passes. Well, yeah, that's going to happen. Now, well, actually, I'm wanting to say that RE don't count, but that was a special instruction in the last mission, wasn't it? That's not in this mission. Just looking back to the last mission, it says when determining if the priority order that states fresh AI less than fresh units AI passes, do not count REs as fresh AI. Off-map German units still count as fresh units. That was a special rule, however, that has brought to the attention that we've got 3 units that are off map. If we're not counting the Pioneers would make it 4, but I don't think they count because they are a sort of special sort of like reinforcement, aren't they? We can't just put them on the map, so I wouldn't have thought they counted. So, however, well, let's see if the rules help us a bit more about that. In a sec. Okay, I couldn't really find anything. Right, 4.1.1, eligible AIs are fresh AI that can execute a listed order. Fresh or spent AI that can execute a listed command order. Right, I guess I was just looking up, the question that I found was reinforcements and rumoured enemy count. I think he was asking about what constitutes a fresh AI. So, what I'm going to say, I think I'm just going to base this on which is a little strange. I'm sure there's something in the rules there that tells us that rumoured enemy count for this. But then, why wouldn't they? I mean, it was only said that they didn't count in the last mission to say that they don't count, whereas normally these would. And reinforcements, well, they're going to count as well, because they're not on the map yet, but they're soon going to be on the map. So, yeah, so we're going to count everyone. So it was, what is it, fresh AI, are fresh AI less than fresh units? Well, they've got, it might still be actually. Yeah, because they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've only got 3 reinforcements because this guy spent. And I don't think we count this. Well, I'm not sure how I would work that one out. I can only sort of say that this is a special reinforcement that's only going to come in through the mission track. So, you know, we're not going to see that until it hits track 10. So I'm going to say he's not part of it. So I'm going to say that we've got 3 and they've got 4. However, it's looking for less than. A fresh AI. Sorry, I'm struggling to get a head around that. Fresh AI, less than fresh units. Fresh AI is 4. Fresh units are 3. 4 is not less than 3, so they're not going to pass grad. Yeah. How was that? I was looking at that the wrong way completely, wasn't I? Because I thought that was going to be 4 against 0. Yeah, they've got more fresh units than us, so they're not going to pass. Right, okay. It's alright. Head's not working. It's all this stuff from before. I'm just anxious to finally put to bed this low risk move stuff, and because it seems that I'm the odd one out when it comes to it. So it's more than likely that the designer's going to put me straight as well. Either that, or there's going to be a lot of head scratching from the other guys that believe it not to be that way. So I kind of hope it's not that, and I kind of hope they've got it right. And how the way Hal set out there made me kind of clicked a bit with me and made me feel better about it. So anyway, hit AI closest to a unit rally. There's no hit AI. AI closest to a target move towards. So that's what we're getting. So no risk. So nice and simple. Well, we'll see. I'll move on to that page anyway. Although I did laminate my player aids now. I left a copy of them in the book actually, and then so let's just use the player aid to try and deal with this. So what are we looking for? The AI closest to a target. Yeah, well, I think we already decided it was going to be between these two, wasn't it? And because they're not, what was that? Now, is that going to tell me on the? Is that going to tell me? For move orders, move the eligible AI that is unhit, then has the lowest movement cost. Yeah, I kind of like looking at the rules there for that though. I mean, I know it's going to say the same, isn't it? Unhit AI before a hit, lowest cost to move, then randomly. It tells you exactly the same in the book. Yeah, on the play rate, sorry. So both of these, remember, both of these are 9 away. We counted it already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he is 10. So yeah, it's a move towards. So so between the two, they're both the same cost to move. So I'm going to randomize. He's a 1, 2, 3 again. Rolled a 1, so it's going to be that guy. So he's going to move towards. Remember, we're not moving 2 hexes anymore. So he wants to get closer. So, well, it could be here or here, so he might well move into here. Because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's got a choice of this hex or this hex getting closer. This is a better DM hex. So we follow the the player red says AI will move into the hex that's the fewest number of hexes away, then that is not within a fire zone. Okay, well actually, you know what? That could be that as well, because I get the feeling that he's in a fire zone just now. Moving into there would be in a fire zone, but see in there, that is not a fire zone. So I don't need to randomise between the, well, for two reasons, because this is a DM hex as well. But see, if they were both clear hexes, we wouldn't be rolling against them, because this is in a non-fire zone hex. So he's going to move into there. And for infantry into, it's not that one, it's that other player aid. For infantry into Lightwoods, I think's nothing, it doesn't add anything, does it? I want to say. Yeah, 0 AP. Remember, these are infantry units now. There's no more tanks. Well, not in this one anyway. So he's going to check on a 1. So we'll put that card away and check on a 1. Oh, and he hits a 1 as well. Ooh, it's all happening. So he's spent. Okay, so back to us. Well, we need to get somebody else on the board then, I suppose. Well, we've only got 2 of these, but I feel like I should bring the next one on. Yeah. Well, actually, there's no harm in them moving through that, is there? It doesn't add on any. It's a Lightwoods as well, so I'm as well going in there 1, 2, 3, 4, and just moving up there. So I'll bring him on there, and we'll check on a 1 again. Oh, come on. Wow. This is vicious. Okay. We've got 2 rifle units. This could be, we want the round to end already. Right, so back to them. If AI plus units less than or equal to 4, it won't be. No. So no close range. No close combat, no short range. Execute counter actions. Sorry. Right, let's have a look. Counter actions. AI with no unit within 3 hexes, closest to a German control hex. Low risk move towards. AI with no unit within 3 hexes, closest to a German control hex. So it's a German control hex that's the target here. Is that right? AI with no unit within 3 hexes. Right, yeah. AI with no unit within 3 hexes, closest to a German control hex. I feel like is that grammatically sort of correct there? It might be, because I'm not very clever with that. I was kind of reading it and as an AI with no unit within 3 hexes closest to a German control hex, like all in one. So maybe it is meant to. Does that make any difference, Grant? A unit within 3 hexes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, I think the fact that's in bold. So looking for an AI with no unit within 3 hexes. Well, every one of the AI don't have a unit within 3 hexes. So we're then looking for the one that's closest to a German control hex, and then it's going to lower us to move towards that German control hex. I assume so. I'm not quite sure that's written as good as I'd like it. Well, just looking down the mission orders there, it's something similar, so maybe it's just me. AI furthest from unit or German control hex. Well, that's different, isn't it? Because that's going to move, the target's going to be the unit that's furthest or the German control hex that's furthest. And if they're both the same, it would pick unit before German control hex, wouldn't it? Whereas this one's not involving a unit at all, is it? Okay, so we're looking for the AI that's closest to a German control hex, and it's going to low risk move towards it because there's no units within 3 in any AI. Well, this guy down here's spent anyway, but they wouldn't be looking at him. It's clearly going to be this guy here. He's 1, 2, 3, 4 away. This guy's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So it is him. So low risk move. Here we go. Now I'm starting to cringe and think, what way do I do it? Do I believe these guys once and for all and like do it the way they're telling me and try to drum it into me? Or do I hang on and wait for the answer from the designer that's going to tell me the same as what these guys have been telling me? Probably. Okay, well, I think we can still get away with this one, to be honest, because we are not in a fire zone, and he can move here or here, which is moving closer, and none of these hexes are not going to be in a fire zone, because this guy... right, sorry, I was on pause there for a while bit again. It's always a struggle when you come back, rather than cut the video and look at where you're at. I mean, I can remember, it wasn't that long ago, I can remember we've drawn this card, we're doing the counter actions, this unit's want to move closer to this, isn't it? Yeah. And yeah, that's what I was checking. I was checking line of sight issues. Well, I don't even need to, because if he moves into here or here, well, hang on, I tell a lie. Why was I doubting that? I think, yeah, well, there you go. So we can move into that hex there, which is going to be in my fires. 9 hexes, Grant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will be in this unit's fire zone. However, if he moves into that other hex there, you can see that this is where the control hex is, isn't it? That blocks line of sight to there. That would not be in the fire zone. So right away, we know exactly what's happening here, don't we? We're going to low risk move. We're getting one hex closer by moving into either one of these. I'm just looking at my played again. If the AI is not in a fire zone, which it is actually, it is in a fire zone, isn't it? Sorry, let me zoom back out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That hex is in a fire zone. Yeah. So if he is in a fire zone, he will move into a non-fire zone hex first. That is, and still in a fire zone, that is a non-fire zone hex. He's getting closer. He's happy with that. That's easy, nice and easy, that one. So we can let that one go, and hopefully by the time it comes to the trickier ones, I've maybe got a definitive answer regarding how the designer intended it to be played. But we'll see. Okay, so that's just on a check on a 1. So that's that card done with. Well, we've drawn quite a lot of 1s, so here we go. Right, it's a 5 this time, so no, he's good. Right, back to us. Well, we're going to have to bring another unit on. So... again, I want to get as close to that. I think I want to get up to there, but... 1, 2... Yeah, so I'll bring this guy on here then, I suppose. So we check on a 1. Come on, you can't do this to me. 5, right, okay, we're good. We've got a guy on the board that can do something. Well, can move. Remember, these guys only have a range of 5, though. They had a range of 9, so... right, back to the AI. Now, hang on, I'm at 50 minutes here, and I did get the introduction in. I want to say it was probably 30 minutes or so. Well, I've got to finish on an AI turn so that I know it's my turn next. So I think I'll have one more AI turn and put this part together. But hopefully going to come straight back and get another part started, and then hopefully that'll be mainly a bit of gameplay. And yeah, okay, so we'll do one more AI turn. So what we got? If AI plus units less than equal to 4, no close combat, no short range, counteractions again. Well, that's the same, isn't it? Yeah, so it's going to be the same guy, isn't it? AI with no units when 3x is closest to German control hex, low risk move towards. So as long as he's not in a fire zone this time, he can move into either hex here, can't he? He's 3 away. He's going to move 2 away. Both hexes. Yeah, that catches the corner of this hex, doesn't it? You know, if I'm saying if he was to move into there, so yeah, it definitely cuts through that. So either one of the hexes is fine for him. So I think that's just going to be a random. But let's just double check. If he's not in a fire zone, move into another non-fire zone hex. Yeah, so he can do that. He can achieve then move into another non-fire zone hex. So then we kind of just need to look at the main movement sort of hierarchy. Fewer number of hexes away, both of them are going to be the same. Not in a fire zone, both of them are the same. Highest DM, both of them are the same. Towards the target's flank is the only other one. We can't break that down. I think it's too far away to decide that we're moving towards these. I mean, you could say that moving into this one was maybe moving towards this guy's flank, but I think because it's that far up there, it's not clear enough for me to decide. Well. Hang on though, the target's flank, this would be the actual control marker, wouldn't it? So, there's not. So, I'm going to just randomise between the two, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I am. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I rolled a 1. So, he moves in there beside that control hex, which is his control anyway. So he's going to check on a 1, and that'll be the end of things, I think, for now. We get a 6. Yeah, I think all the ones have been burnt out. So he's fine. Right, I'm going to take a break on that part and put this together as part 1 of Solo Mission 4 Partisans. And, oops, what have I done? We're still recording. Yes, we are. And then I'll just copy this across and come straight back and get some more gameplay in, hopefully. Okay, I'll be back later. Cheers.